absolutely smash Arman Sarukian in a wrestling match after watching him tonight. Now, I will say he did look really good, really impressive, but Lance Palmer didn't look as good as he should have tonight. With that being said, Arman, I will smash you in the RAF wrestling ring. But I got my sights set on something later this summer. I think we all know.
Arman fired back, saying, "You said it, can't run now. Send me contract RAF wrestling. I am ready to mop the floor with this bum. Another 10-0 coming right up."
What about feminists? Do you agree with now women are empowered, women are in charge, they're in the military, they can run for president and almost win. Do you think are you happy about the rise of the independent woman?
No, not at all, brother. It's a scam, and they really need to be home taking care of the children. They have a much more important job than running for political office. They have a much more important job than truck driving and working on tractors and moving logs and fixing water leaks. They have a much more important job. Their job is to raise the children in the home that the man provides. Because the man does everything else better, but guess what a man can't do? He can't raise them children like a woman can. That's where them women need to be. They sure as hell don't need to be in a position of power. That always leads to destruction. I'm just telling you. That's how that goes. You put women in a position of power, you're going to get emotional decisions. These female cops make me laugh, to be honest. That's how you know a nation's fallen, when there's a whole bunch of female cops. They ought to be at home making babies and raising them. And that's just what you get when the society...
I see what you're saying.
But you don't see any value? You don't see any value of women being independent? And in this case, in this conversation's sake, meaning like at all in positions of power, you don't see any value. Just have to ask.
I have not seen one woman in one position of power ever that I have. You know what? And I'll say this. I think Candace Owen runs the best podcast I've seen from a female. But to tell me that a woman ought to be the commander-in-chief of our military, you don't know a fucking thing if you really think that, brother. When it comes to war, boots on the ground, a woman can't even think like a warrior, like a man. They can't think strategically, logistically. You're going to tell me a woman president is going to tell me how to put boots on the ground and run diesel equipment? Yeah, what do women know about running? How are they going to start the diesel equipment up in the cold? The women don't even know how to start the diesel trucks. Or and you're going to tell me that a woman is going to be the president of the United States. No, we need a man who understands logistics, who understands how to fight, things like that, and how to run a business,
True.
А почему у тебя такое резкое неприятие это вызывает, когда про неравенство говорят полов?
Не то, что про неравенство, а больше это идет, допустим, вот если мы разбираем, допустим, феминистка. Раньше, когда женщины боролись за свои права, они действительно боролись за свои права. Зачем? Для того, чтобы они могли осваивать те же самые профессии, что мужчины. Для того, чтобы они могли посещать университеты, учиться чему-то новому, учиться искусству, допустим, получать за свой труд такую же зарплату. Сейчас это все уже есть. То есть сейчас мы видим, что женщины, они те же самых боевых искусств, они мейн-ивенты, все народ, фанаты их поддерживают безумно, они получают такое же количество денег, иногда это даже больше. То есть сейчас за что бороться? То есть уже все это есть, и поэтому вот именно это течение, оно приобрело немножко такой другое направление, более агрессивное, более неправильное немного. И поэтому, наоборот, его нужно сейчас сглаживать. То есть все права, они присутствуют у женщин сейчас, в данный момент. То есть и надо, наоборот, этим радоваться, этим наслаждаться, потому что женщины, которые за это боролись, у них была тяжелая жизнь, которая не является тяжелой сейчас для женщин. Наоборот, это именно плоды, которыми надо наслаждаться. И поэтому, когда вот именно эти слова произносятся вслух, они идет вот это вот противостояние мужчина-женщина. Хотя это должна быть гармония между мужчиной и женщиной.
So Islam Makhachev told us that the Kamaru Usman is the toughest challenge at welterweight. Do you agree with Islam? Because the other prospects haven't proven themselves.
So if you're looking at resume, right, and what Usman's done in his career, he's one of the greatest welterweights of all time. I think also for people that are trying to dismiss Kamaru, because people are trying to dismiss Kamaru as a threat, remember how he fought Hamzat, right? Hamzat has destroyed just about everybody. Kamaru Usman fought him tough and won the third round, and if it was a 5-round fight, many felt Kamaru Usman had the opportunity to beat him. That was up a weight class. So while people are trying to write Kamaru off, I wouldn't be so quick to say that he is no challenge to Islam because of his wrestling pedigree, because of his championship pedigree. I agree with Islam. Kamaru Usman is a very difficult challenge for him.
And lad, people are saying like Justin Gage, he's older than that lad. He's 2 years older than Dan Hooker.
That's true.
Dan Hooker couldn't grapple a rapist off his ma. You know what I mean?
Okay, strong statements about Dan Hooker there.
Twitter and some YouTube comments. People are really going after Paddy for this. And obviously Dan Hooker came out with a wild response as well. We'll get to that in a second. But just on Paddy here, you got to remember, he's a lad from Liverpool where they do have a great sense of humour, but also, you know, it can be a little cutting, it can be a little bit dark, and he was speaking to another English guy. Now, as I say, I'm not defending the fact that he brought up Dan Hooker's mom, right? He should not have done that. But in the context, right, it wasn't that bad. He never said anything too bad. He was basically just talking about the grappling of Dan Hooker. Now, should he have mentioned his mother? No, absolutely not. He shouldn't have done that. And Dan Hooker has got absolutely every single right to be as pissed off as what he is.
I was supposed to fight for the title.
Yeah.
And then they said, you're too dangerous to push you on the first card on the Paramount because headbutt, pull out, beat fan. That's why they said you gotta wait. And I said, okay, what I can do?
Yeah.
I'll just wait, and I know my belt is not gonna it's gonna be mine. I work every day because of that, so it is what it is. So.
Are you surprised that Islam Makhachev was so good at welterweight?
No, not really. He's impressed me since the beginning. He's always given Khabib the hardest time in the gym. So I knew he was going to be right after Khabib. Khabib's going to have his run, and then Islam was going to have his run. I'll be honest, I didn't think he was going to do as good as he did. I didn't think he was going to become like the pound for pound so fast, because just the coincidence of the two of our guys and two friends like that to take over the sport and at their time be pound for pound, arguably the best. But I knew he was going to have success for sure and be a champion, and he lived up to every expectation I had and more. So I love it.
What about feminists?
Brother, it's a scam.
Феминист, да, феминистка. Другое направление, более агрессивное, более неправильное немного. И поэтому, наоборот, его нужно сейчас как бы сглаживать.
What? Did we just become best friends? Yup! Do you want to go do karate in the garage? Yup!